New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello. Yes, it's me, Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief. About me, I'm a grief coach, a registered nurse, a licensed soul collage facilitator. All that and a human being right here on the planet with you. And I just want to say happy holidays to all. And by the way, today is the first day of Kwanzaa, which that principle is umoja, which means unity. To strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and the race, whatever race you identify with, maintaining unity. And I like to feel that that's what your doula for grief is doing today. To bring unity around grief, bring unity around grief in the family, in the community, the nation, and even as our races heal. So being in unity is what the theme is today. The theme of Kwanzaa is today. But my theme for today, for your doula for grief, is holiday grief, how to navigate those waters. And just to think about it. Yes, we are right here, smack dab in the middle of the high holy holidays, which really started back with Halloween, straight through Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, now Kwanzaa. Then we're going to have New Year's Eve, then New Year's Day. And for some, even the Super Bowl is a high holy holiday of sports, just to make you laugh. Okay, and with all of this activity swirling around us, around you, you may find yourself not feeling so festive, especially if you're grieving. And that grief could be grieving around the loss of a loved one, the loss of a friendship, the loss of a lifestyle, loss of health, loss of a job. You know, the empty nest syndrome, finding yourself suddenly alone. And those are just an example of a few of the many losses that we experience. And just remembering, grief is caused by loss. Loss is what we experience. Grief is what we feel. And so today, that's what we will be discussing. And I just have the best of guests today. Every guest I have is special, phenomenal, excellent. Today, we're at the creme de la creme with Reverend Verona Garland, who is joining us. And Reverend Verona comes to us today as an Emerson Theological Institute credentialed interfaith and religious science minister. The recent launch of Uniting in Love, which celebrates life's passages. Her joint ministries, quote, Blooming Truth Global Ministries, expansively serves in delight, joy, exhilaration, and sacred thanksgiving. Reverend Verona's ministerial endeavors include inspirational speaking, spiritual counseling, curriculum writing, teaching, play shops, and global explorations of oneness. She specializes in abundance mentoring, prospering possibilities, and ageless source and supply teachings. Wow, that's a lot. As a certified freedom coach, she brings emotional integration processes to the depths of transformative growth. So just help me welcome Reverend Verona Garland to our program today. And just thank you for saying yes. Thank you for answering the call of yes to this program today. I'm just super delighted that we get to have, almost an hour together, which will fly by. So I just want to jump right into things with you. But I thought maybe, Reverend Verona, before we discussed our theme of holiday grief, just maybe telling us a little bit about your philosophy or your insights into grief. So welcome.
Thank you. First thing I want to say, thank you for the welcome. It is such an honor and a blessing to be here during the High Holy Days, and also all the High Holy Days, which, as I so appreciate you said, they started with Halloween, and even we can go back to Diwali, because that's the festival of light. So the High Holy Days, which carry on until, I'm not quite sure about the Super Bowl, but carry on at least through the beginning of January. And also the what I like to call the High Holy Days is an expression of, the darkness and the light, because it's all of us in our humanness accepting and navigating and embracing and embodying the darkness and the light, and figuring out, where do I stand in all of that, and where does it all fit? And so for me, it flows right into grieving, because when the light leaves us, we may have some superficial grief, or we may have some really depth of grief, that we're thinking in our humanness that the light is gone, and so perhaps the light from within might even be gone, which of course it doesn't happen. It's the eternal flame, like the eternal flame that you might have at a cemetery. It is the eternal flame within and as each one of us. However, the grieving for just what you said about what we experience is the loss, and then what happens emotionally is the grief. Yes. And that is so profound, Bonnie. Thank you so much, because sometimes we may not even know we're experiencing loss, or we may be acculturated to just accept loss. That loss is just a part of who we are, that whole thing of, well, just take it, just stand up, take it, accept it. However, for my personalization, or my adventure even in grief, is that grief is something that's really important. And the importance of it is that it activates all sorts of other learnings and healings, opportunities for growth within and as us. And the other great thing about grief is some emotions we can run and hide from.
Yes, some we can.
Yes, some we can cover up with all sorts of our human, all the things we can in our humanity, all the things we can use or imbibe or do or be or whatever. However, grief is one of those activities or even blessings that shows up and gives us an opportunity to really lay ourselves bare in the things that we're feeling, and to know that when we lay ourselves bare in these feelings, we're held in an eternal, immortal safety net that holds safety, so that we can allow ourselves to be in it, and allow to, I often like to say, allow it to let us know what is wanting to emerge, and allow the grief to let us know what is it bringing us. When we have that feeling, we can be with it and say, well, grief, what is the reason you showed up at this time? What is it you came to teach me? What is it that I already know within me that is wanting to emerge?
Right. And there's a couple points I want to make, but I'll make this one first. Excuse me. Is that in grief, I say, nothing gets our full attention the way grief does. Nothing gets our full attention. And that's where That's where the process starts. It's got our attention. What am I going to do with it? Where I'm going to go with it? There's one thing I do want to say to kind of set the stage as to why grief can be or feel so more intense during these holiday times. It's you think about the days have gotten super short. We're in that solstice period. That's 3 days, the darkest, the longest night of the year. And if we're in rhythm or in tune with nature, that is a time for turning inward. The darkness, allows us to turn inward. The idea is to slow down when it's dark. But with our holiday seasons, we're revved up. So just setting that stage for why grief can feel so maybe more intense, because nature wants us to slow down, but society says, no, got to get that shopping done, got to get that holiday party planned. What do you mean slowing down? So with that said, that's what I wanted to just say that can set that stage for grief to be a little bit more intense. I'll just use the word intense. And so back to your point too about now grief has got our full attention. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? How you move, maybe I'll take the word lean into it. What do you advise around that? Leaning into those emotions or those feelings that come up?
Well, first, thank you, Bonnie, for clarifying that around this holiday season, what we call the holiday season, what's happening with the grief in the holiday season and why. And I love it because you used the perfect word to me, intense. It can feel very, very intense during this time. And part of it, as you and I know, and I think you alluded to, is that there's a lot of expectations on us at this time. Yes. There's a lot of, just what you said, going here, there, hither and thon, doing all these sorts of things. And it maybe sets us up for anticipating that something is happening on the outside versus what's happening on the inside. And so what I'd like to point out too is that really we're in a gestation period now. We're in, and really is really like a gestation period of grandeur. However, the knowing that the ways in which we get to know that is accepting in faith and trust that something is growing, something is gestating, something is developing itself. And just as you said, in the darkness, because we're in that time of the darkness at this time. So that the ways in which we might be able to address the grieving that we're having at this time of the year is to allow ourselves to even go to an analogy of just thinking of when you plant a seed, that seed stays in the darkness.
Yes,
it goes up in the dark. That and I have to say, in all transparency, I have been one of the kind of gardeners. Interesting, you switched my name to that today because and I have been in the past. I have been this sort of gardener that planted something, waited a week, and then went and kind of jostled the plant or really, moved the dirt around or whatever, which was to me knowing that, where is the trust and faith in this planting? Where is it? Versus being in a place of trust and faith, just like, like Neville Goddard says that faith and trust is belief in unseen reality. So during these times of grieving, we get to have a belief in the unseen reality of the safety of spirit and of the unconditional love of spirit that is there holding us, that is embracing us, that is swaddling us, that is keeping us safe. Because part of this thing with the grieving at the holy days, holiday time is our egos step right up to the front. They step right up to the fore in our position. Yeah.
And foremost. Yes.
They say, hey, wait a minute. We're supposed to be this. We're supposed to be that. We're supposed to be this. We're supposed to do that. And our egos, sometimes it's been my experience, our ego steps up with the shoulds. Well, you should do this. Well, you should do that. Well, and so we find ourselves in the process of as the grief comes up and out during this time of holidays, shoulding on ourselves.
Yes, that's right. Don't shit on yourself.
Yes, don't sit on yourself, which is an opportunity. Really, what I think is showing up here for me is opportunity for self-love and self-care, for gentleness, for kindness, for really tenderness of ourselves, so that when the holiday grieving pops its head up, like that game, I think it's called whack-a-mole or something, where things.
Yeah, you keep beating it down until it.
Yeah, and that is not the solution. The solution is to allow ourselves to tenderly and gently accept, wow, I'm in a place now that I may not feel comfortable. I may have some fear, false evidence appearing real. I may have some instability, and giving ourselves an opportunity to really, really treat ourselves, much like the famous Karen Drucker says, I'm going to hold myself like a newborn baby child.
Oh, I love that song. That is just
a great
precious.
song. Yeah.
That is precious. And I think another one that she does is, I can only go as fast as the slowest part of me is moving. And
Yes.
I think we can incorporate that into this busy time, that you can only go as fast as the slowest part of you will go.
And it's really important that we do the things during this busy time. I'm so glad you used that word, this busy time, that we stay steadfast in our self-care. We stay steadfast in loving ourselves up. We stay steadfast in doing whatever it is, the physicality of whatever it is that makes us feel great. And I'm not just saying, well, now just go for a massage and get a mani-pedi. No, stay steadfast in those things that really bring you joy. And it could be something as wonderful as, I don't know, FaceTiming your grandbaby, or yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so much I want to jump into when you just said that. Oh no, you said that, and I want to share something around that. But I want to go back to our talking about the dark time, the darkness, that that plant, that seed that's in the dark. What I wanted to say about the darkness is that the wisdom is in the darkness. The wisdom is in the darkness. It's like the womb that we need to be in, the womb that I need to be in. And to know that about darkness. I for a long time was one of those people that just did not like when the days started getting short. I just dreaded it. It's like, oh, I hate this. I said, because by February, I'm just so depressed. I don't know what to do. But not realizing what was going on. That was my own growth journey. And I think it would have been wonderful if I had had someone that I could have discussed about the darkness with, and to bring some awareness to the wisdom in the darkness. So I'll ask you to speak to that, even though you started with the plant.
Oh, well, thank you. No. And really the wisdom in the darkness, I love that the phraseology you use that, or the languaging you use for that, because that's where the wisdom is, in the darkness. I was looking at a card today that was saying that, the greatest developments happen in the darkness, and in the darkness of not knowing, possibly. In that darkness, not knowing what comes next. Yeah. So the darkness is really rich, it's fertile, it's full, it's, and because of our spiritual beings having human experience, possibly just what you said, a lot of us may have that feeling about the darkness, about the days, Yeah. Because sometimes in the darkness, it's that place of absolute acceptance. That place of absolute acceptance. Yeah. And so that place of absolute acceptance may not feel to be the most, I don't want to say comfortable. It may not feel to be the substance of that of which we are. It is the substance of that of which we are, but we may need to just bridge it with loving ourselves to know that this is the space. The darkness is the place, and that all sorts of things happen in the darkness. And without just a really silly, easy thing, without the darkness, we wouldn't so enjoy the stars in the night sky.
Oh my goodness. Yes. The beautiful night sky, and the full moon at night. Oh yes. Oh my God. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, knowing that that wisdom in the darkness. And just that you were saying that that's not the sum total of who we are. We're multifaceted beings, multifaceted beings. And I like to say learning to accept, that's what I want to say, Reverend Verona. Learning to be okay with leaning into discomfort. Yes. Learning to be okay with discomfort and being uncomfortable. Being, sad. Leaning into those emotions. I'll let you speak to that, and I'll get back.
All right. Okay. And I love that you brought that up, and we skipped over that a little bit, but the leaning into it, the admonition to lean into it is really wonderful, because it gives you an opportunity to be a part of it, but also to possibly keep yourself grounded in that you already know is a safe space. So if you allow ourselves to lean into it, and really what we're doing is flowing into it and flowing with it and as it, but that feeling of leaning into it, I love that verb, because it is a feeling of releasing, surrendering, letting go, as well as knowing that I'm already grounded. I'm already absolutely centered. And that grounded and centeredness holds me, it keeps me safe, and it gives me direction.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Lean into it. Yeah. And the other thing about leaning into it is kind of what just showed up for me, is that leaning into the darkness, because leaning into this feeling is leaning into the darkness. A lot of times we, as in our humanness, may feel that we, especially in times of grief, it may be a challenge to realize or accept or even discover that the light is still within me, that that the light is still there. And so a lot of times when we're grieving, we may feel like we're the lampshade instead of knowing that we're the light.
Wow.
That darkness that we may feel is just covering up something that really is the light of revelation, the light of understanding, the light of determination, the light even of discipline, the discipline of loving ourselves, living on purpose, and being the truth of who and what we are. However, I love what you said about the leaning into it, because it gives us an opportunity to know that we are part of this activity versus just, because sometimes we might think, well, I planted my seed, this gestation thing, I planted my seed and now I just sit. Instead, it's to give us an opportunity to know that we are bringing it forth. Yeah.
Yes. I think too, 2 points I'll make. I think too, sometimes people don't want to lean into that uncomfortableness, because think about, we're in the holiday season. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Who am I to say, oh my, I'm not happy right now. I'm truly sad right now. And to know, I just want to make this point, to know that you can lean into it and not be swallowed up by it, not to be taken under by it. I think that is a fear. I don't want to go, that's expression, isn't it? I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. It's like, but sometimes the going there is the way to get out of there, to just go through it. There was, I think her name was Reverend Karen Carnes, and she was saying, there's nothing wrong with going through a really difficult time, a really difficult patch. She said, okay, but just keep going. Don't stop and buy a condo there. Don't take residency there. That is it. Feel into it and keep moving through it. You don't have to. Everybody has I want to honor where people are and not say that whatever you're feeling is bad, whatever you're feeling, so that you could put it forth, bring it forth. And talking about that, because I just had that thought of, then what do you do when you feel like you can't get through that? And we'll talk about that with some ways of getting through some difficult times. And I loved what you said about the light and the lampshade, that sometimes you feel like you're the lampshade. And I know that you're a beautiful flight attendant for a long time. And it was this Buddhist passages that I was reading. And it's like, even when it's raining, if you got in a plane and got be above those clouds, the sun is always shining. So always that the light is always the light.
And Bonnie, however, you make a very good point. First, we want to respect and honor whatever feelings anyone is having during this time.
Yes, you're not wrong.
No, there's no right or wrong. It's just if you feel it, you feel it. And also, if you feel it, one of the things that's become clear to me in all the interactions I've had, if you're feeling it, someone else is probably feeling it. And so that about what do you do during this time of joy and merriment and all these sorts of things, and you don't feel as that way, it's one of the opportunities to allow yourself to transparently show what you're feeling, because it's also opening up the floodgates for others around you to possibly say, you know what, I'm not feeling so happy either.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Which is a way of giving joy, but it's also a way of receiving joy. And when you get yourself in an opportunity of receiving joy, then joy is also one of those things that, is like, when you plant the seed in the darkness, you put fertilizer on. Joy can be considered maybe one of the fertilizers.
Oh, fertilizer's stinky and smelly.
Well, I'm from Iowa, and my grandparents had a farm, so fertilizer to me is gold.
But yeah, exactly. It is golden. It is the thing that you think you wouldn't want to spend any time.
Yes. And it's stinky and smelly, and that you might go, ew, not that. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yes.
And so we get an opportunity to know that. And also during this so-called time of merriment, it's an opportunity, or just a chance maybe, to say, so what is it that makes me merry? And maybe solitude, quiet, self-reflection might be an expression of merriment. Actually, might be something that gives us merriment, or might be something that plunges us into merriment, or might be something that, as a result of it, merriment shows up.
Oh, that is sweet. That is just merriment and fertilizer. What I was thinking, merriment and manure.
Yes.
We'll take a quick break, but before we go to break, I just want to say, when you were talking about the whole feeling it, and if you can feel it, you can heal it.
Yes.
You have to feel it to be able to heal it. So that's why I wanted to just say, yes, we honor what you're feeling, because if you can feel it, that is definitely a sign that you can heal it. So we've just got we've got so much more on this conversation of holiday grief, and let's get prepared. And I have a little situation that I will ask Reverend Verona when we come back. So stay with us. Just if you have a question or comment, just drop it in the comment box, and we would love to explore it. So we'll just take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hi, welcome back. Still, our theme today is navigating holiday grief or holiday grief. And let's get prepared with my really beautiful guest, Reverend Verona Garland, who's here with me and having a great conversation around grief and those emotions that come up. And I wanted to just ask Reverend Verona to come back in. Yes, there she is. And continuing this sweet, sweet dialogue, I wanted to go back to the point that you were talking about. I was saying about leaning into it. And I think you started to say some words around talking through it, talking through what those emotions may be that come up at this time of the year. So I'll ask you to continue with that thought, if you will.
So when we have an opportunity, I love it so much that you said leaning into it, because for those of us spiritual beings having the human experience, sometimes when we have feelings, what is our first response is to do something versus to be something, because we're in the beingness of ourselves is when the change happens, is when things unfold. So the talking about it or talking with ourselves about it, I recommend, and I do it with myself, and I suggest it, having a conversation with yourself about it. When you're really in like the grief of the holidays, allowing yourself to have a conversation with you and honoring the answers that you get from you.
Yes,
really, and really having a talking point and saying to yourself something like, what is it you're feeling? What is this about? And what is it? In what way would you like it to unfold and evolve? In what way? And we have all the answers within us. Of course, if we go into the stillness and listen, the answers are in there. Our intuitive voice, our intuitive voice speaks to us, just like tapping us on the shoulder in its most wonderful, glorious voice, and lets us know what the answers are. So if we first talk about it with ourselves, and then give ourselves an opportunity to talk about it with our loved ones.
Yes. Oh, yes. Talking about it with our loved ones. Could I add something about talking to our loved ones about this?
Absolutely.
I really recommend or invite you to have conversations with your loved ones around holiday grief before the actual big event happens, before the day that you show up with grandma's pumpkin pie and somebody wants you to make grandma's pumpkin pie that was sacrilegious that you would try to have. Before that day comes, talk about what it is. For my family, yesterday was my mother's birthday. She was born on Christmas Day.
Oh.
It was for her, it was truly a double-edged sword.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Because everything's around Christmas. So when we called her, first thing we had to say was happy birthday. None of that Merry Christmas stuff. Happy birthday. When you showed up, you better have the two gifts, the birthday gifts and the Christmas, unless you were buying her a car or something that really was a big financial setback. But I just want to offer that to say, have these conversations. Like, what is it? We have New Year's Eve coming up. So what is it that gets triggered around that for New Year's Eve? Talk about that before then. Are you going to have the black eye? Well, from my culture, from African American Southern living culture, you have to have black eyed peas and collard greens on New Year's Day, because the black eyed peas are the change and the collard greens are the green, money. And so you're going to have that. If you're not going to have it, maybe if it means a lot to somebody, it's just about really keeping dialogue open, maintaining the dialogue. And yes, go ahead.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was in my mind. It didn't come out of my mouth. Yes, have these conversations before, and have conversations with yourself before it happens, because a lot of the grief I think that we get an opportunity to experience over the holidays is because of expectations.
Yeah.
also maybe even and I really don't like this word, but it's expectations, and it's also assumptions.
Ooh, assumption. Ooh, oh, can you speak more to? Can you
Yeah.
speak more to that causing
Yeah.
holiday grief?
Yes,
Assumption.
yes, yes, because that's the word that I said I don't kind of like, but however, it's a very important word, and because we may assume that things are going to unfold in a certain way. We may assume that I may assume, I'm going to use the I messages. I may assume that's what's in my head is what all those people who are having holiday with me, it's in their head. And so
Mm-hmm.
I may assume that things happen in a particular way, and that is not at all the way that the universe has it happening, or it is not at all the way that the people I'm celebrating with have it in their head. Yeah,
Right.
so it's really easy to make assumptions about just what you were saying, like about New Year's and the Black Eyed Peas and the Green.
Yes.
And even though I'm going to use full transparency example, even though you and I are both African Americans, you said it was a cultural Southern norm. I was
Yes.
raised, and I was raised in the middle of the United States in Iowa as an African
Oh.
American. And it was not a norm for us. In fact, my norm, and I'm not quite sure how this started, but the norm for my particular family was the adults got to have caviar on New Year's Eve.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh.
the kids didn't. The kids, we just got to watch. But yeah,
You got to learn how to eat caviar.
exactly. We got to learn.
You knew how when it came your turn.
When I got to be an adult, yes, I knew how. However, that's what I mean by assumptions. And so someone might assume if you and I got invited to the same party, what would either one of us maybe assume to serve at this New Year's Eve party? Because
Oh.
it's about our belief systems and our knowledge base. And so and assumptions come when we decide, I know the way it's supposed to be.
Mm. Thank you for that. Thank you for using that dirty word, assumption.
Yes.
I know you were hesitant about that. And there was another point that you were starting to make when we were discussing navigating these. I'll say navigating the holiday grief was about self-care,
Mm-hmm.
and you were saying a massage and those types of massage, those things that we think of when we say self-care. But I wanted to take it to please get your massage, please get your body work, please do those things. And I would invite you to expand the self-care into what thoughts are you putting in your head? What thoughts? What are you feeding yourself physically and mentally can be really aspects of self-care. I do want to point this out too, and no judgment, just awareness around people may overindulge, especially alcohol, especially with sugar, knowing that is, if you speak to that part of self-care.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie, because that's very important. And it seems to be like the overindulgence in sugar and alcohol. Part of it seems to be a reward system. Oh, look, we made it to Christmas, we made it to New Year's. I mean, in our culture and in cultures around the globe, some cultures around the globe, that okay, I made it this far, so I get to have this, and I get to have this in it may give the appearance of having it in abundance. However, it is really having it to the detriment of our physiology and the detriment of our feelings too. So that we get an opportunity, when you said that about let's dig deeper into self-care, one of the things that showed up for me immediately is acknowledging yourself. That's part of self-care. Like everything before you let your eyes fall shut, acknowledging maybe 3 things that you either accomplished that day, you completed that day, or you loved about yourself that day. So part of that self-care during the holidays is acknowledging yourself. And in acknowledging yourself, you might even acknowledge to yourself something like the example that you're using. I can have 1 glass of whatever it is. Let's say I can have 1 glass of sparkling, And it's not necessary for me to have 6 glasses of sparkly for me to feel about myself the way I feel with maybe even 1 sip of sparkly, because
Mhm.
I am the one who's taking the highest and the best care of me.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes in not what is the word I want to say? I don't want the idea is not to feel like deprivation,
Mhm.
but saying something to, I love myself so much, I don't want that effect.
Mhm.
Because I know when I have that,
Mhm.
that really affects me in a
Mhm.
certain way. And not that I'm, denying myself. It's just that I'm loving myself and saying no, that I
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
that particular thing, because be it whatever, it could be spirits, it could be anything, that you're not denying yourself, you're just loving yourself. And that is a part of
Mhm.
self-care as,
Mm.
as well.
Bonnie, that's very powerful and very profound, that I'm not denying myself, I'm loving myself. And also that kind of fits into something that a very, very, very profound modern mystic says, which is we get to place ourselves in the discipline of discipline.
Oh, discipline of discipline. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I won't write it down right now.
Well, that's Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, of course, and the
Oh,
discipline,
oh,
that we get to stay in a place of disciplining, that the discipline of loving ourselves. And then just what you said, loving myself. I love myself, so I don't need to eat 20 truffles for Christmas.
yeah.
And then we get to stay in that. And then when we really embody and let that discipline pour through every atom and fiber and molecule of our bodies, then it can bring us to a place of sheer discipline where we
Right,
say, this is who and what I am, and this is who and what I am all the time, not just during the holidays.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that. Discipline of discipline. I've got to write it down. I want to share something that I always say: have a plan. Have a plan of how you're going to move through that day. Have a plan how you're going to move through that hour. If you're going somewhere, maybe, and it's not that you really don't want to go. Sometimes we find ourselves in those positions. It's like, okay, I'm going to go. Limit how long you're going to stay. I'm going to go. I'm going to go for 2 hours. Because you can do anything, even if you're exercising. Let me just make it through another minute. Just keep the heart rate up for 1 more minute. You can do it. You can do it. The same with this. But if you find yourself, for whatever reason, being or needing to go to something, limit it, and have a buddy with you that you make eye contact and you both say, oh, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, Bonnie, do you know we got to get going? Whatever. Have that buddy with you that can help you through that. And I was going to ask you this we played a little bit before, or I told you a little bit about the questions before about preparing for difficult situations. And so I will ask you this, and if you're watching, not play along, use it. Use it for a situation that's coming up that maybe you don't look forward to. Maybe New Year's Eve is just not your high point. That is about you do so much self-reflection. You find yourself coming up very short on the short end of it. So Reverend Verona has agreed to model this plan of action, and this is really designed to get you through maybe a difficult situation. Okay.
Mhm.
So the first part of this, the first question that you ask yourself, and just with honesty, this year I will miss. This year I will miss.
So, Bonnie, I love this game first, and I love that you gave me a little heads up ahead of time, not so I could plan something, because
Right.
the spontaneity of it is what's important, and the transparency. However, it just made me kind of chuckle, because Spirit always knows what Spirit is doing, and Spirit always has a little chuckle with us. So this year, I will miss the presence of my daughter for my New Year's Eve celebration, because she is spending 3 weeks in the UK.
Wow, good for your daughter, but Boo for us.
And yes, exactly. Well, and the reason,
No.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons that I will miss, but what I miss is that usually on New Year's Eve, I have the honor of doing for my spiritual center the burning bowl ceremony.
Oh,
And he is my executive assistant for my burning bowl ceremony.
oh.
She's
So
the one who gives me the flash paper and does this and does that. And also it's such a stupendous feeling tone that we are together there at the end of one chronological year and the beginning of another chronological year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I will miss this year. Yes.
Okay. And this year, I fear that. This year, I fear that.
This year, I fear that my high holy day celebrations may be somewhat muted. That year, I fear that the zest and the verve of the celebrations may not occur. I feel that the opportunity for solitude may undermine my opportunity for celebration and whiz bang and all those things that are part of the holidays.
Yes, yes. Okay, wow. Okay, I wish that. I wish that.
Thank you, great genie Bonnie. I wish that. I wish that the joy, the verve, the exhilaration, the excitement, the enthusiasm of holidays past deluges my very being in every second of every moment of every activity and interaction of the holidays.
Wow. And so it is. But that's not a part of it. Yes, I just felt that. I felt that in my own being. Okay. Okay. So knowing that you will miss your daughter for the holiday, feeling that the pizzazz and the zest of the holiday will bypass you, and that you wish that all this tremendous joy descends over you from past holidays. So with all of that, so I plan to.
So I plan to immerse myself in love so that the benevolence and the adoration and the cherishment and the absolute just joyousness of the holidays knows itself as and through me, as and through everything I touch, taste, sense, hear, feel, and as and through every other being of light that I interact with.
That is beautiful. That is just beautiful. I invite all of those, and everyone that's listening, to really take that exercise with you for any situation that you foresee. And Reverend Verona, I already feel better for whatever. I feel joyous for whatever. Oh my gosh. Yes. Gosh, thank you for sharing that. And I want to be very vulnerable and very transparent with my own desires for the holiday. I had a big desire to be in Ireland this year with my little granddaughter and just celebrating. She's 4, she'll be 5 soon. But that didn't happen. There was various things that came that I thought, okay, well, I can't have that. Let's get prepared for Christmas Day. What am I going to do? I said, I'm going to call them first thing in the morning. Their first thing in the morning is like midnight here.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Midnight, I'm going to call and video and watch my granddaughter open her gifts, and then I'll call again in the afternoon when they're having dinner and see how the day has unfolded and see their holiday meal. And so that was my plan. That's how I plan to navigate a difficult day for me. So here's how things unfold. Christmas Eve, it's the Noche Buena, which is celebrated in the Latin culture. So Christmas Eve you have. So of course I was already up at midnight, and I call and nobody answers. I know. Yes, this is what I mean about that point. Okay, I call and nobody answers. Finally, my daughter sent a text at about maybe 1 a.m. saying my little granddaughter, Emma, was very sick. It had the flu. She was up all night. And hadn't woken up. And it's like, oh, that's a bummer. But I wasn't too bummed because I was sleepy. And it's like, okay, then I'll go to sleep. And I said, okay, no problem. I will call you at 8 when I wake up. Okay. I call. No answer. No answer. No answer. No answer. By then, I'm not feeling so. And then finally, my daughter sends me a text saying, I am so exhausted that I can't even talk to my dog. I can't even talk to you now. I'm so exhausted, I can't talk to anyone. Can't even talk to my dog. And I just thought, and then so that text went away. And this is when I hope we're still here or that. Okay. I think I'm freezing up. Am I freezing up here? No. Is my internet okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes. So anyway, there was no one to talk to. There was nothing. I was so just disappointed. I was sad. I had some moments of tearfulness. I allowed myself to feel just that deep disappointment. And I thought, oh, wow, I invested so much energy in planning this. And I thought, well, what else can I do? So what I did, I just sent my daughter a text, no blame, no shame, just, I was looking forward to living vicariously through you and Emma and Leo. And I'm so disappointed, for you all that you've had a day that wasn't the happiest for you. So I put that out there without any blame or shame or any of that, just expressing what I felt, my sadness, my disappointment. And my daughter after that sent me 10 videos of the day, of them presents, of them, Emma trying on this and the dog squeaky toy. So I felt that by asking for what I needed or saying that was my plan, that in turn gave me. So I got to live my own advice, have a plan, the plan backfires, lean into what it is that you're feeling, and then ask for what you need, ask for what you need. It can come, if not, but if it doesn't happen, if you don't ask. So we're so glad that I said I was looking forward to it through you all, and she got that message. Oh, so videos, I don't have to talk to my mom. This is when technology is on my side, on my daughter's side, and so I wanted to just give that example, and hearing Reverend share about missing her daughter. So we're definitely kindred spirits.
Might I please just add to everyone who's watching, and thank you so much for pouring it right into my heart. You surrendered to the feeling of the grief.
Yes.
Surrendering to the feeling of the grief, then you freed yourself up to not only be in a place of stillness and faith, but you also freed yourself up to be in a place where the universal law got to say, whoa, look, now there's this open vacuum that we can pour everything into, because now after the surrender, what you did, it's just so spectacular, Bonnie, the asking for what it is we really want.
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing that. And come New Year's Eve, I'll be thinking of what you just shared with us when my daughter is.
Yes. So, that is just, and just knowing that, Reverend Verona, if you and I are moving through this, so is someone else.
Yes.
So is someone else. That when we share our truths with each other, we heal together. And not feeling like we've got to keep the happy face and what is that, toxic positivity? Yes, that we can just be real. We can be human with each other.
Yes.
And I would like to ask too, or say too, you know, find a friend. I think Reverend Verona, you alluded to that. Finding someone to talk to, finding a friend. And if you don't have a friend, don't be ashamed to reach out for professional counseling. That's what it's here for. That it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to take care of, to have counseling and coaching. Because the whole idea is to be heard, to listen, to listen. And that's what we're all here for. So this is just beautiful. Reverend Verona, you're just the best of the best. And I knew that the time would go by fast. I just didn't realize it would go by this fast. It's like I knew it would whiz by. But before we close, I would like to thank you, Joe. Joe is our producer. Let's give him a shout out.
Joe, yay.
Oh, we love you. There's Reverend Verona's website. Reverend Verona, is there anything that's coming up for you that you'd like to share with us where we can find you, view you, be with you?
Well, we are having at Agape Bay Area, the center where I am the assistant minister, we are having our burning bowl ceremony on the 31st of December from 6:30 to 7:30 Pacific time. And you can go to Agape Bay Area website and you can just click on there. It's Zoom. It's live on Zoom. I mean, it is on Zoom. It's not live. You can be in your PJs if you so desire. Or your comfy clothes. And that's the next place that you can see me. And also I'm speaking at Brentwood Inspired Living Center on the first day of January.
Brentwood.
January 1st. And that is live. However, you can do Zoom and Facebook Live, and you can go to their website, BILC, BrentwoodInspiredLivingCenter.com, and get the particulars, and also either push on the button, or I would love to see you that morning live and in person.
That would be even better. Do you, I know you don't call them workshops, but do you have any play shops that are coming up?
The play shop I have coming up is on January 1st at Brentwood Inspired Living Center, another Burning Bowl play shop, which is what I'll be doing for Agape Bay Area. However, for the upcoming year, so far, I don't have any play shops planned just yet. But thank you for asking.
That is wonderful, wonderful. Well, I know that you'll be joining me for Vista Conference on February 23rd, I believe. And that is a Vista Conference through Centers for Spiritual Living.
Where I get an opportunity to be your strong support.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. And I'm just, just truly excited that we are able to have such deep, heartfelt conversation. That just excites me. And it's like, this is the stuff that I feel like it's made up of. This is how we heal. This is how we heal. As I said, the superpower of grief is healing. And Reverend Verona and I think, have just really modeled that for those out there to see, and to see that you can still come away smiling. It can still, there's a balance. There's a balance here, sharing the sadness and sharing the joy. So with that said, I give thanks to Reverend Verona, and I want to give thanks to New Thought Media Network, and that is the platform that we're on. And you can check it out, New Thought Media Network.org, New Thought Media on Facebook. There's a Facebook page, and there's just so many beautiful shows that are broadcast through New Thought Media. And also make a donation to New Thought Media. Joe, can you put the donate button, the donate banner up? And just know that you can give so that we can continue to have beautiful programming like that Reverend Verona and I are sharing our love for you on. So I think it's New Thought Media Network.org. Donate, I believe, is what it is. And you can check it out. Yeah, check it out. Go to Facebook New Thought Media, and you can see there also how to donate. And to everyone, just happy holidays. Again, it's the first day of Kwanzaa, so let's continue to be in unity wherever we are, unity in our community. Love to all. Happy holidays. See you next time, Reverend Verona. You're a rock star.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.